I'm saying to people around this nation right now, stop being loyal to a party or to a man and use your brain to think for yourself.
That was Dr. Ben Carson earlier this week announcing his candidacy for president and urging voters to think for themselves. Earlier, we asked some of those voters if they had any questions for Dr. Carson, and we have a couple of those. But first, I want to ask you about Baltimore, where you lived for so long. Earlier, Mark Thiessen said Baltimore doesn't have a racism problem, it has a liberalism problem. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Baltimore, like so many other big cities, have been the victim of errant thinking. You know, it's really kind of started back in the 60s with the Great Society programs and the war on poverty. And a lot of money was thrown at these things without really thinking it through. And the result has not been very good. You know, we have huge numbers of people on food stamps and on various welfare programs, out-of-wedlock births. And, you know, that has its own set of consequences because that woman usually stops her education and the kids, you know, grow up in poverty. So we need to stop for a moment and ask ourselves, how do we get out of these situations? What has worked? We know that throwing money at it and federal programs has not worked. But when I go around the country, I speak at a lot of places where there are community-based programs for business, industry, Wall Street, academia, churches, get involved on a personal level with people. Right. And those are the ones that actually bring people out of poverty. And it benefits all of us as a society.
Let's talk about big government for a second, because you told me once on my show that you believe that President Obama pushed Obamacare because he believes in Vladimir Lenin's principle to rule the people, you must first control them. And you said a couple of things like that, which has some thinking that you sound conspiratorial, and even I've heard the word paranoid. I mean, to that charge, you say what?
To that charge, I say go read it for yourself. Go read the writings of Saul Alinsky and read the writings of Vladimir Lenin yourself. And, you know, I didn't make the stuff up. You can go and read it yourself. I think that's the best way to handle it.
All right, I want to get to one of my viewers' questions. This is Michael Conrad. He submitted this question via Twitter, and he has a question for you about free speech.
Richard Fowler was on the Kelly File last night and caused quite the stir on social media today when talking about the Texas Muhammad cartoon contest. He said that freedom of speech comes with limits, and this is a clear limit. What is your position on freedom of speech?
Well, freedom of speech was hard fought for in this country, and there's no way that we should ever allow the First Amendment to be compromised. Obviously, we need to try to be civil to each other. We need to respect what other people say and what other people do. But we must protect that with every fiber in our bodies. And when somebody says, no, you may not say that, because if you do, there's going to be terrorist acts against you, our government needs to come out and fight that with everything available.
And on the question of civility, one area in which you've made some self-admitted gaffes has been on the question of gays. And you suggested most recently that prison may make you gay because you go into prison straight and some come out gay. No excuses, following your mom's principle. How could you have said that?
Well, you know, I really don't know that that is the big issue. We could get into a very long discussion about the causes of homosexuality. It's a much longer discussion than can be had in a soundbite type of interview. But the fact of the matter is that the things that I say that have caused people pain, it's not for the purpose of causing pain, and that's something that I have learned. And you don't really hear me saying a lot of those kinds of things anymore because people can't really hear your message because they're so upset about the words that were used. So I've learned that.
And you are admittedly not a seasoned politician, which some people like, and other people may not. I want to get to this question from Matthew LaCourte, who submitted this to us. Watch.
I'm interested in both economic freedom and social freedom. What can you say to millennials like me with libertarian leanings on why we should vote for you in 2016?
I would say for a millennial or a young person, you should vote for somebody who is looking out for your interest. $18+ trillion national debt and rising, definitely not in your interest. You need somebody who has a plan for getting that under control, who recognizes that this country possesses the most powerful economic engine the world has ever known, but it cannot function when we fetter it with a gazillion regulations and with a tax structure that does not encourage entrepreneurial risk-taking and capital investment. We need to do that. We need to lower corporate tax rates. We need to have a reformation of our whole taxation system.
Dr. Carson, it's great to see you. How's your mom doing?
Well, you know, she stopped eating and drinking. But, you know, we went down there, we saw her, all the boys and their wives were able to come. My wife played the violin. She opened her eyes. It was wonderful.
God bless. We wish her all the best, and thank you for being here on a busy and big week for you.
Thank you.
Wow. So this week we had Carly Fiorina, Mike Huckabee, and now Dr. Carson all joining the Kelly File, and Chris Stirewalt is next on what it all means for 2016.